Thank you so much. Now he has just announced what I'm going to do in the next 20 minutes before we close tonight's rally, and it's to summarize for you what you have been hearing in the last 9 days. The last 9 days of rallying has been a time when we have heard voices all over Singapore. And every party's rally you have gone to, every article that has come out, everything on the internet, it seems to be speaking the same language. Every constituency, every opposition party that has stood up have been saying something very similar. So it cannot be that just very few people in certain parts of Singapore are in pain. But because you hear the same things everywhere, it seems that Singaporeans all over the country are facing the same problems. Am I right? Yes. So we only have 20 minutes. In this 20 minutes, I'm going to summarize for you not only the problems, because you already have heard the problems enough times, but in the next 20 minutes, we're going to put forward to the government which is coming into power next. And like I said earlier, it does not matter how many parties are voted in, because whoever comes into power, we will all promise to work together. That's our first promise. We will all work together regardless of our party. Say yes. Yes, because our goal is never to destabilize Singapore. Each and every one of you, each and every one of us, each and every one of us is first and foremost a Singaporean. Say yes. Yes, and all we have been fighting for are the rights of fellow Singaporeans. We just want Singapore for Singaporeans and our rights to come first. Give yourselves a big hand for that. Now, there are 7 main areas of our manifesto. I will now, in the next 7 minutes, if possible, tell you the key policy changes and the plans that we as SDA are going to put forward. You have heard some of that. These plans from everybody. You have heard them at our rallies. You have heard them on our online portals. But it is important as you walk home from today, I want you to bring this last part of summary back, because we are not just a party that opposes for the sake of opposition, but we have a think tank that has been working on alternative party solutions, alternative policy matters, and most importantly, we never make sure that they only benefit the economy while putting down the lives of Singaporeans. But for SDA, it is important that any policy that brings up the economic benefits to people of Singapore must also balance itself by taking care of the lives of Singaporeans. Say yes. Yes. So I'll start off with the population white paper. He already declared today as a referendum, your vote is no more anymore to upgrade this lift or the infrastructure or other things. Today we are already a matured community. From the third world, we have become a first world country. It is no more about small bribes that the outgoing party gives. Vote for me and I give you a better lift. Vote for me and I paint your building better. It is no more such issues. We are an educated group of people. Yes, give yourselves. Today, we need to come together, and every vote that you cast will mean 2 important things. Number 1, don't overcrowd Singapore if our infrastructure is not ready. Is that fair? Is that fair? Yes. Maybe too many people came in too soon. We are not ready to handle that. I'll do a simple math. 6.9. And currently in this election, there are 2.4 million voters, which are Singaporean voters. If you take simple math, 6.9 minus 2.4, which means you will have 4.5 million more new citizens or new immigrants who are going to come into Singapore. That means 65% population increase is 4.5 million. Now, if there are 65% more coming in to make 6.9, and Singaporeans, we are only 2.4, that leaves us as 35%. We will become second-class citizens in our own country. Do you want that anymore? No. Simple math. 35% true blue Singaporeans, 65% new foreigners. We want to welcome them. The top-end foreign talent is important for our economy. Yes, investors are important. Yes, even the foreign workers who do jobs that we don't want to are important. We are not against foreigners coming in, but we are against those foreigners, which will be the mass of them, 4.5 million, who will take away your jobs, take away your houses, take away your children's school seats, take away everything that we have built, our values, our culture. What will we become? Our national identity will go down further. There'll be no more proud of being a Singaporean. Do you want that? If you don't want that, then this vote that you have in your hand, it is not just a piece of paper. It is not just for the next lift or better painting. I will come and paint your block. But you use that vote, super important vote. Yes, it's an important vote. The power is in your hands. Look, people, we can come back every 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. We can stand here, we can come up with the best policy matters, best policy papers. But if we do not have those votes to support us, if we do not have the mandate from all of you, there is nothing much we can do, except every few years we make noise, they listen to it, and then they make small changes to just make you happy. But if the fruit is spoiled, if the fruit has insects, you spray something there. Yes, you will kill that insect for a while, but the problem was not with the fruit. The problem was down there in the roots. And until and unless we settle the problems that are being faced by Singaporeans at the root level, they will never disappear. Say yes. Yeah. So SDA proposes, we welcome foreigners, but don't take our jobs away. We welcome foreigners, teach us the talents that we need. We welcome foreigners, bring in the investments. And we also welcome foreigners who help us do some jobs that we don't want to do. But please, do not make us a minority. This vote that you have in your hand is a referendum to tell the outgoing party, too much is too much, enough is enough. We want our power back. Say yes. Yes. Number two, yes, I know we have an aging population. I know childbirth is important. And I also want to tell you this. If you bring in people who are already in the middle age, because when they come in, they can work. Soon, in 10 to 20 to 30 years, they are also becoming an aging population. So we have an aging population problem. We bring in middle-aged people, they become a double aging population problem. Do you see the big double problem? Yes, so we need to encourage childbirth. SDA proposes that. Or if you want to bring some babies in, that will be much better. Why? Adopt children. Singaporeans who want to, if you can afford it, adopt children from all over the world. Teach them the values that we were brought up with. Teach them the Singaporean values, so when they grow up, they can be proud Singaporeans too. Say yes. Yes. And number three, there are a lot of single parents, a lot of single mothers, a lot of them who are in our community today. Well, can I just say something? We do not want to ignore anyone, and we also want to have same benefits, same rights, and same welfare, so they can continue to be good parents with double parent roles. Number six, we also know that if more of those population, new people come in, they will not be born and they won't have in their brain, the blood cell, the true blue Singaporean nature. So we want top civil service positions to be protected so that they are only held by Singaporeans who either were born here or have at least gone through national service to prove their commitment to Singapore. Yes, number seven. We have always been for races that have always been together. We have always stood together to hear the lion roar. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude the population white paper stand, SDA says, we want a Singapore for Singaporeans. We want everything in infrastructure to go up. Then let's bring them in. But if possible, never forget, we are the people of Singapore. We deserve to be treated fairly. Say yes. Number two. CPF. Now, I may not be already 55, but every member of the public that I've been speaking to, every elderly gentleman, every man who is driving our taxis, even this evening as I came here, thank you, sir, that's a good job. Let's keep doing it. No job is bad, but every one of them is crying the fact that my minimum sum has gone so up high, I can't even take out my money. This money was what I worked for. This money was what I saved every month. This money was what I was looking forward to when I grow old, to have to live my golden years. At 55, we were promised. Now the government says 65, 67, or keep it there. But the second thing is, they are not even going to return you the lump sum at that age. It will be in small installments which cannot, and SDA says cannot, maybe even run your life with a rising cost. So our stand has been... Say yes. Yes. Some Singaporeans Singaporeans who are good and savvy, they will know how to handle this money, they will invest it outside, they will grow it further, they are taken care of forever. But there will still be some Singaporeans who may not be comfortable in managing and investing their money. Then let's give them a choice. At what age? Say 55. 55. Give them a choice that if they feel more comfortable with the government taking care of their money, let it roll for that group of people. But it shouldn't be that nobody sees their money at 55. Turn to your neighbor and say, I am ready to take care of myself at 55. Turn to your neighbor. Yes. Turn to your other neighbor and say, we are responsible citizens. Yes. That's right. Okay. Wonderful. Give him a... Now, number two, the one other reason why we always don't have enough money at 55 is because the returns we are being given for the most amount of money is only 2.5. Now, if you've been reading the internet, if you've been reading other articles, you know they are using our money. Whose money? Our money to reinvest and get better returns, much more. Some people say 6, some people say 16% return. Now, ladies and gentlemen, good for them if they're good investors. Use our money, reinvest it. But all we ask for is give us a better return on the larger part of our CPF, because more we get back. We use the profit. Can I just say something? Listen very carefully. We use the profit to pay off for our HDB houses. We use the profit to pay for healthcare. We use the profits, the higher profits. And as we can do that, our minimum sum will remain in CPF. Our capital money that we save every month will remain in CPF and will never go dry. Are you with me there? Yes, yes, yes. And this is what we need. The principal amount should not be just spent to pay for all these expenses, but the profits on our money. So CPF is important. The second thing I want to say today, very easily, as you see my team getting ready to come forward, the second thing is your vote is the referendum that we want our CPF to be returned at 55. Say yes. Yes. Now the last few steps, very good, thank you. The last few things that we have, HDB prices have been going up. HDB homes are supposed to be a place where we come back to, a place where after working the whole hard day, it is a place for us to rest in. It's a place for loveness. It's a place for a family to come together. I like that laughter, sir. I mean, if you want to have more babies, you need to come back with enough energy to produce them too. Say yes. Yes, but when the stress of our homes is going up, when everything is going up and the cost of a HDB block is so high, young people say, I cannot afford it. Or even if I can afford it, I spend the rest of my life paying for a smaller and smaller home. Now, is that fair? No, it's not fair. So another referendum vote. You have to cast the vote for us so we can be your voice in Parliament and fight for all these issues. Give yourself a big hand for that. Now, this is supposed to be a public housing scheme. A public housing scheme must be exactly that. A housing that is affordable by the public. But you see, BTO prices are going up. You only get houses as people say, I want more. Of course, don't let us common Singaporeans fight with each other. A public housing scheme should be exactly that. Affordable housing for all Singaporeans. Say yes. Yes. And the last but not least that I'm going to touch on is healthcare. Although I have two more issues which are very important. And last one will be your education for your children. But you heard earlier, we have already given you summaries on the healthcare. We advocate that the Medisave be totally liberalized so that the money can be used for all your outpatient clinic treatments. Last rally in Punggol, you heard about this guy. He did not tell his family. For those of you who missed it, let me just give you the 1-minute summary. He was so ill. He was vomiting blood at the coffee shop. His friends saw it. They wanted to call an ambulance, but he said no. Why? Because he said, if I go into hospital, I can't touch my Medisave, I can't touch my money in there, but my family will be more burdened just because I am sick. His son wrote a letter to us. I can show that to you. But he said, I rather die than be a burden to my family. Now, do you think that is fair? Say no. No. And I tell you, that man died with $50,000 in his Medisave account, which he couldn't use when he was still alive. So we say to this, we want it to be liberalized, we want mental health to be looked into, and we also want, most importantly, no more healthcare issues for Singaporeans. We work hard for this country. We want to have our health back so we can bring back money for our families. Give yourself a big hand if healthcare is important. Yes. Number 5, public transport system. You heard last morning, Punggol already had a 3-hour problem. Enough of your friends in Punggol are fed up. I tell you, I was standing there. I didn't even have to give them any more flyers. All of them said, be green. Pal Singh, save the money. We already know what we're going to do. You don't have to give me a flyer. My family's votes are all with you. Give them a big round of applause. They are fed up, people. Enough time. And then they don't even announce now, cover it up during election time. But we'll tell you something, these are ongoing problems. And unless you vote for us, no one's going to be anyone, no one's going to be the voice that's going to fight for this. So we say to you, it is taxpayers' money. They buy new buses, they buy new MRTs, give it to a private company to make profits. But that is not fair. We either want the government to get back control of all the transport system, make it better, or open it up for tender so there is more fights. Say yes. Yes. And the last two are very touching. Why? Because as parents, you have a responsibility to bring your money home. But today, employment seems to be a big issue, especially for Singaporeans above 40. Getting a job is already difficult, but keeping that job is even more difficult. But the worst thing is, the cost of living has gone up so high that the money that's coming in doesn't seem to be enough. If you face that problem, give yourselves a big hand and say, we need a change. We need a change. We need a change. I already spoke about this. CECA, as one example, is an agreement. Yes, it's an agreement with other countries. It helps the economy, but it is not fair to Singaporeans. It is disadvantageous to us. So we urge the new government, and if you give us your vote, we will be part of that government. We will go to foreign countries. We will write agreements, but our agreements will be fair agreements. First, to the people of Singapore and not the outsiders. If they cannot do fair agreements, move aside. We are ready to take over. We are ready. Move forward. And because in the last 5 minutes, I'm going to cover the last thing. And I'll tell you something. You see the boards. We are ready to be your voice. We are ready to be a better government for Singapore. Give yourselves a big hand. And last but not least, the 7th part of our manifesto is talking about education. Ladies and gentlemen, our children are our future. But today, we see stress on the faces of young ones. It is very sad. Go back to the time, and you also can move closer because I'm going to end off with something very important. Go back to the time when you were a child. You still had a childhood. But look at our little children today. Do they have a childhood? Thank you, sir. He said it's school, school, school. We did our research. Kids are spending more than 9 to 19 hours extra after school on homework. I don't want to talk about the money that is being spent on tuitions. Is there something wrong with our education system that they need to spend so much extra time? Yes, parents, we don't blame you. You want your kids to do the best. You want your kids to be someone and something. We know that, and we want every child to be the best child. But I tell you the problem. The problem is when you tell every child that you have to pass this exam, otherwise you're good or otherwise you're so bad. 2 things happen. Listen to this carefully, and I end off with the education part. 2 things happen. The kids that do well in school, they have a false sense of achievement. They think they are much better. They think they are the elites. On the other hand, the kids that don't do well in school, their self-esteem is damaged for life. They grow up thinking, we have got no future. They also had a future. Just because they didn't pass the streaming exams well, doesn't mean they don't have a future. So SDA says very clearly, number 1, abolish that streaming papers via standardized testing, because everybody has a different talent. Say yes. Yes. It is our children. Why kill their self-esteem and young? When they grow up, they won't even have that confidence. If they have the confidence, let's leave the confidence in them, because then they will grow up to be good citizens. They will grow up to do other things. They will bring back money for you and me when you and I are old people. Say yes. Yes. So we want that. And the last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow you have a cooling off period. We are not allowed to talk, but you are our voice for tomorrow. Say yes. Yes. Tomorrow, we are not allowed to post anything on the internet because as part of the rules of election. But you have the phones. You have the internet. Post everything. Go door to door for us. Tell your neighbors. Tell everybody, we need a change. What do we need? We need a a change. Tell them it is time to give the opposition, the SDA, a chance in Pasir Ris Punggol. I've shared with you all the good news. This man has 14 years of experience running town councils. Yours will be the best town council. That much of confidence I have. Say yes. Yes. And we also have within our teams people of all strengths. We will be your voice in parliament. But no point if we make this kind of rallies every 5 years, but we don't get your votes. So may I ask you to just close your eyes for 1 second. Just for 1 second. And I want to see every one of you, as you close your eyes, look for a beautiful future. In this beautiful picture, Singapore is going to be much better than what it is right now. Don't believe a word of lie that they are saying Singapore will go down because opposition go up. No, that won't happen. Yes, that's nonsense. You are right, sir. And as you close your eyes, I want you to project the most beautiful energies. Know that Singapore will be much, much better in the next 50 years. Say yes. Yes, 50 years ago, a man was born. 50 years ago, no, he wasn't born, but he came into power as an opposition. He passed away this year. But I'll tell you something. He has brought Singapore from third world to first world. And in the next 50 years, we promise to do the same. So I want you to do one last thing in the last 2 minutes that I have. I want you to all stand up straight with pride. I want every one of you to say, I have the power.
I have the power.
Turn to your neighbor, say, you have the power.
You have the power.
Turn to the next neighbor, say, use your power.
Use your power.
We have already declared this is a referendum. A referendum means your vote will be counted. Your vote is important. It is a secret vote. You don't have to fear anything. But when you cast the vote, just like you dreamed for a better future, know that your vote, if you vote for us, will give Singapore a better future. Say yes. 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 Say vote for SDA. Vote for SDA. And in the last 1 minute, let's say it together. No to 6.9 million white paper. On the other side, look at the other one and say, give us back our money at 55. And I want to end off with this. Everyone repeat, say we. The citizens of Singapore. We already said the pledge at the start, so you don't have to do that because I'm not saying the whole pledge. But I'm bringing you to the last 3 words in the last 30 seconds that I have. Why did I bring you back to the pledge? Because when it was written with 3 goals in mind. So as to achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time in the last many days that you have come. I thank you for your energy. And in the last 10 seconds, I want you to go out there, be our voice, so we all can achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for the nation. Vote for SDA!